So, between now and there, what do you think should be money be spent on? What if the government and
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation
and everybody else were all sitting around in a room saying, you know, we are going to make a national effort to deal with cancer or Alzheimer's or whatever, the way that we fought World War II.
See, here's my idea, right? I mean, it's a Silicon Valley idea, maybe a little bit of law and economics idea. It's like, rather than bailing out GM with 50 billion, 100 billion, whatever it's going to be, and oh, well, we're going to get green cars out of it that nobody wants anyway, why don't we just take $10 billion and start a venture capital fund for green technology? You'll have the next green Google. You have entrepreneurs all around the world. I mean, $10 billion for a venture capital fund is enormous. I mean, why can't we do that for medicine?
Well, I think we should.
Right.
I think that all these ideas, in other words, you know, if you were to think to yourself, look, I mean, Dean Kamen had a great interview in Popular Mechanics just over the summer, in which he said, look, medical technology, this is the guy who invented the Segway.
Yeah, exactly.
But also,
he's crazy,
he has like 500 patents on medical prosthetics and so on. He's a genuine genius. He said, listen,
absolutely
we could make this into much more of a world-beating industry than we are. We could be selling this stuff to the world. Remember, as the world gets more affluent, they're going to want it too. You know, this is much of the consternation of liberals. People in the third world don't want to just die in an egalitarian.
They want to be rich like us.
They want to get rich, and then they want to consume like us.
Right.
You know, and their cultural patterns will be different. But when it comes to things like health, they go to the Mayo Clinic or the Cleveland Clinic or UCLA or wherever it might be to get cured. Now, if we were really to sit around and say, look, folks, all these name brand hospitals and research clinics and so on like that, these are unbelievable economic assets.
Yes.
We'll get millionaires and billionaires to come trekking here, not just across from America, but from around the world to come and consume this stuff.
That's what's so crazy is people are like, we're losing the manufacturing base, we don't produce anything. We produce healthcare, we produce food, we produce entertainment, we produce intellectual property. I mean, things change. Capitalism is creative destruction. These are our new industries.
Right, but I'm going to just drill home the point though. You know, look, one of the most spectacular conquests of the disease was polio.
Right, absolutely.
And polio was people think of wheelchairs, it was also, people put people on iron lungs, it was also killing people. I mean, polio was really a serious disease. And President Roosevelt in 1938 said, I'm going to organize a charity, the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis. He sort of ran it out of the White House. It was called the March of Dimes. It became known as the March of Dimes. Yeah. In other words, it could be a public thing where the president says, listen, the taboo element of the country, the sacred, John, I'm calling upon you, Uncle Sam, Mount Rushmore, George Washington, all the people who died in our wars are calling on you to pony up and get this done. Dig deep. We're not saying it's not a tax. It's just simply we'll give you a medal. We'll put you, we'll name something after you. Think of all. Just get creative. The Smithsonian, if you drive by on Constitution Avenue now, it's like the Kenneth Barron's Smithsonian Institution. There's some guy paid his name to put his name in stone there. The Air and Space Museum is the Udvar Hazy, a Hungarian name. Air and Space Museum. In other words, it's a win-win. We got his money, and he put his name on something.
It's all the schools,
all the colleges, FedEx Field, and Tropicana Field.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a million ways to do this, and if we were, I think that the gratitude of the public, the gratitude of the world, and remember, we're going to help third-world peoples. We're going to, if we're going to cure AIDS here, we might as well cure it in Africa. I mean, why not? You could do all these things. Instead, we're stuck with a system of sort of rationing and bureaucrats and just letting people die because we think it's cheaper. It's only cheaper in the short run.
Right. I mean, that's what if it was up to me, and I'm saying this is all solutions, I would get rid of. I would do tort reform. I would get rid of all the state lines of where you can't compete with the different insurance companies. I would do away with everyone gets treated in the emergency world. All that. I don't know. I might tweak that a little bit, but what I would do then is I would give vouchers to everyone in the United States, almost like a medical savings account, $3,000, $5,000, whatever it is. If you want to use the emergency room, if you want to go get a PPO, whatever you want to do, you can have it out of that amount of money, and then once that amount of money is gone, then it's gone. Now maybe we have a backstop.
You think that would work?
It'd be tough.
No, okay, well, let me think about what you're saying here. Is insurance a good idea?
I personally think that all people should have It's catastrophic insurance.
Okay.
And
then you're for insurance. So then the point is, but then
a form of insurance, and then just pay cash.
if it's for routine medicine, I'm all for it.
Okay.
All right, but you do have the issue of, will people consume enough public health money, for public health issues, like if they have a cough? There's just a certain value in screening people every so often, which is can't really be voucherized. I mean, look, the thing is, health. This is an important point.
Okay.
The same sacredness about medicine and life that makes us recoil at
the death panels
like that, also cuts against the libertarian ideal that you
do need a mix.
Pay your money, and then if you run out of money, tough.
You're done.
We'll just throw you out of the hospital. Yeah. We'll just unplug you from the ICU and put you on the street. No, that's not going to happen. So there has to be some realization that healthcare, in all its components, scientific, industrial, ethical, moral, the Hippocratic Oath, all that stuff, isn't just an economic good. It's not just a commodity that you swap. Well, I'm going to have fewer Maseratis and fewer flat screen TVs and more healthcare. No, healthcare is something you don't really want to consume. It is an economic good that you don't really like, right? You don't really look forward to saying, I can't wait to get a heart transplant.
Right.
I can't wait to have open heart surgery. No, it's in its own kind of category that economists haven't quite come to grips with as to what it is.
So if I understand what you're saying, it's public investment and public money on the low end side with prevention and some basic goods and stuff like that for the routine stuff, and then maybe some public investment along with private endowment investment, maybe like
venture capital. I call it national strategy.
National strategy for the
serious stuff.
For the serious stuff.
Here's how we beat cancer. Now, the point about insurance is, think about it. All this idea of we're going to have interstate competition for insurance, all that does is further accelerate the fragmentation of the insurance market.
Right.
Which further accelerates the disappearance of insurance.
Right.
Okay. Well, okay. To a certain stripe of hardcore Cato Institute thinking, that's a good thing. There shouldn't be insurance. It should just be, you should reach in your own pocket and pay. So, again, it's one thing if you go to Walmart versus CVS and say, how much should I pay for aspirin? That's a good routine medicine choice. And serious medicines become routine medicine, like the LASIK surgery. Like you can shop around, get the best bargain, fine.
That's a market.
Right. But look, if your kid is diagnosed with leukemia, you're no longer in the eBay mode of shopping around.
You want the best.
And you want the doctor you trust. And,
that's right.
And you don't want to go through the same battery of tests with somebody else to see if you get a lower price.
Different price curve.
It's just, right, it's completely different. So you can't really voucherize for that. You only can do that with insurance. And then if you fragment the pool, if young people who are young enough to say, I don't need insurance.
Right.
Well, now, of course, they will have coverage if they get a motorcycle accident.
Right.
We'll still spend the $2 million in the ICU for. So I think that the only way to deal with this is to have some sort of insurance pool or mandate that just everybody's in. Mm. You can have a high deductible if you want, but you still need just the basic element of insurance. Now, if you don't have
and that's a public system?
If you don't have that,
or it's just a requirement like for driving a car?
I like for driving a car.
Okay.
I think otherwise, if you don't have that, your hospitals will go bankrupt.
So insurance mandate, make a better market system in here with more competition, tort reform, this and that, whatever. Public stuff on the low end and prevention stuff.
And I would call it utility. I would think of it as utility. Listen, you just look. I mean, friends of mine, when we're pregnant, they get 2 minutes of work in an ultrasound.
Okay.
$900. You just
I can sign on. Yeah, I'd sign on to that. I know what you're saying with that.
And now, I would also say that, look, if you think about back to Silicon Valley, okay, ultrasound, all these, imaging technologies. There's probably going to be a new machine.
Yeah, always.
6 months from now, and so on. It'll be better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I think it's perfectly within the sort of the economic sort of strategy that I'm talking about here to say, look, we're going to buy these machines from, General Electric or whoever makes them, and then we'll give them to the doctors. We want healthy babies.
Yeah.
We want healthy people. If you fall off your skateboard and get a head injury, and we can't figure out whether you just conked your head or you got an aneurysm in there somewhere, we want to know.
Yeah.
So we'll give you the machines. It's an economic generator program for whoever the machine maker is, and then in return you can't charge too much for using it. Mm-hmm. That strikes me as a good experiment in pushing technology in the same way that we thought that rural electrification was a good idea, right?
Right, absolutely.
75 years ago. or the internet, spreading the internet's a good
Laying the
idea.
railroads.
Railroad, whatever it is, we're going to create a utility, a matrix here of good technology that we want you to consume.
Well, that's an investment that returns
Right.
GDP to us all.
Exactly.
Yeah.